Well, welcome to the show before the show. I'm your host, Patrick Marlette. And let's just relax for a second, why don't we? I'm still in vacation mode, so if I seem lackadaisical or not quite here, it's because I'm coming down from a wonderful summertime high. Yeah, it was great. I was in the Outer Banks for a little over a week. Went to the beach a lot. Went fishing. A lot of amazing home-cooked meals. Getting to enjoy some fish we brought back. Had the cats with me the whole time. That was great. You might hear one now. We'll see. Or you'll hear. Yeah, it was weird. Before we went on this vacation, we hired a cat sitter initially. And, oh my god. This girl, or guy, could be a guy, I won't throw him or her under the bus, was out in Long Island, and they agreed to meet us a week in advance at a specific date and time, and then told us last minute, this is like 48 hours before we're leaving on vacation, last minute, that he or she was going to be several hours late to meeting us and also meeting our cats. So I obviously did not like this irresponsible person and had to take the cats with us, which wound up working out okay, but it was not what we had planned. Fun little story. Fun little story from my time out. But how are all of you? I'm sorry I wasn't here last week. I really enjoy these live streams. I hope you do as well. Not my real name, sorry, says hello. Bobby Z says yay. Thanks a lot, cat sitter. Yeah. Well, you know, what can you do? I guess. There was no excuse for that, though. I had a gut feeling that they imagined... I think they just forgot. I honestly think they forgot. But the thing is, I'm paying you for a service. Like, the least you can do is show up on time. The least. So what does that mean, like, when I'm not around? You're going to have my keys. Not only that, you're going to leisurely come to feed my cats and make sure they're alive? I think not. I'm super iffy on that. My god. We actually installed cameras for the occasion. Someone bought us home security like ages ago. These cameras that want to hook up to Alexa for some reason. Alright, Jeff Bezos. Alright, Amazon. What else do you need to know about me? But we set these cameras up and we're like, okay, get everything ready. They're pretty cool, actually. You can like take snapshots and like freeze frame. It's weird. Spying on myself 24/7 now. Pre-show hype. When you get to Cosima, I run Dreamscape Artists. It's an overperformer. We're actually going to start with Cosima. Cosima? Like Cosmos? Cosima? Kazuma. I don't know if that sounds like a DOA character. I don't know how you pronounce that. We'll just go with Kosi. How about that? We're doing Kosi first. She, despite the framing of the thumbnail, I think Yog Dog's on the left-hand side for you all. We're going to start with Kosi. She's, at least how I've planned this, I want to start with her first, but she's the one I'm going to need the most time with. I think that I'll have to bear that in mind. Holler when we get to it, Austin. Dreamscape Artists, because it might be in there already. Holler when we get there, because if it's not in there, we can definitely look into adding it. And there's a plentiful of ideas that I have for this list too. We were talking about it on the Discord, me and the Patreon community, and I was thinking to myself, well, someone had brought it up, and I'm like, it's totally agreeable. She'd be so good if she was Simic. She'd be so good if she was Simic, but they just need to make Thrasio sit higher up on that fucking throne of his. Hullbreacher, huh? Bobby Z. Yeah, I didn't jump on the bandwagon of people giving their general reaction. Do you want my general reaction now? I was thinking it would be fun to do like a Monday Magic news dive with like guest, or even just the Patreon community or something like that, where it's literally just snippets of news in the Magic community or gaming at large. It could be gaming at large. Doesn't need to be on brand for this. But it'd be fun to just have conversations with you all and obviously just dissect some of the most recent whatevers in concerns to Magic or gaming at large. Because I think that would be a fun way to like entertain this the sort of news segments that you see where people just throw their opinions out there on bannings and the likes. So far as Hullbreacher is concerned, it was a concern, but you just need to wait till this weekend's episode. God, you need to wait till this weekend's episode. Spoiler alert, a Hullbreacher gets cast. All right? I'm not going to say anything else, but it's game shaping, but the game still goes well for everyone. So to not say too much, I didn't think that seeing a Hullbreacher was damning. And I mean this generally for any game. I think that if you're playing in a more casual setting, it's less likely to be damning because the odds of you seeing a Wheel of Fortune are far less so. The odds of you seeing a Time Twister are far less so. And those are the real scenarios where Hullbreacher thrives. And I haven't watched any reactions or any, I have no idea what the community's saying about this. I don't really care because I don't play blue. And, I feel sorry for you blue mages, but que sera, right? Planeswalkers, we're supposed to be planeswalkers, right? You blue planeswalkers, whatever. Sorry, find a new card, I guess. But, it doesn't affect me overly so. I know everyone that owns a copy upset. Justin has this really tricked out altered one that he really likes. I think it's still in Cube. I think it's still played there, so his Cube, so maybe it's still playable, but it's fine. I don't know. I didn't see it being horribly damning. Obviously, you need to set up for it and sort of like a 1-2 punch, but it's fine. I mean, you still have Notion Thief. Chill. You still have your Notion Thief. Is Notion Thief getting banned? I mean, I don't know. I feel like that card's better. I would rather just draw a shit ton. I would rather draw a lot. But you do need to be in more colors for that. So Hullbreacher being supremely splashable, 3 CMC. I get it. Mono blue landfall? I know, Wesley. I know. Trust me, my Cosima deck is better at ramp than my Uro deck. Huh. That's saying a lot. Should there be separate ban lists for EDH and CDH? No. I feel like we've had this conversation on the channel before. It's the same format, guys. It's just that... How do I put this delicately? There are people that don't play with the most optimized decks, and then there are players that want to play the most optimized decks. But it's not only that. Like, you can hand a competitive player a precon, and they're going to... Someone who cares about this game and the strategy of this game and playing this game at its, highest is going to probably handle that precon better than your average player. I would like to think. So it's more of a mindset than it is the decks. I mean, you saw if you didn't tune in for the $99 budget Brawl, which was the budget battle. No, I had no relation to Brawl. We're not playing Brawl. But if you tuned in for the Brew Wars, where we played $99 decks, like, it wasn't any less competitive. It was just playing competitively on a budget, which is totally possible. So, don't think that being optimized means using the most expensive deck. Yes, using the most efficient land base you can is ideal, especially if you're in 5 colors, like having every dual land, having every fetch land. Of course, that's ideal. But that doesn't mean, you're going to lag behind these other competitive players, provided you know how to mulligan. You've built your deck to the best of your ability with the most optimized cards. Again, does not mean expensive, does not always mean expensive. You should be able to play just fine. So, on that note, this format all being the same, I don't really care how the bans occur. And, I know there's people that just ignore the ban list. There are people that adhere to it. I think a majority of players, like there's a rule 0, whatever the fuck that is. People talk about rule 0 all the time. I'm like, no, 95% of the time I'm playing with someone random. They want to adhere to what is and what isn't banned. So rule 0 can just suck a dick. What? Every time I hear that, it's like, what are you talking about? Just follow the ban list. It's not difficult. And no, I don't care. I don't care that Hullbreacher is banned. I don't think there should be separate ban lists. It's not an issue. Afternoon, fam. Harmony Smurf. He caught me in a somewhat aggressive rant. Excuse me. Notion Thief is 2 colors. Fuck, Derek. It's not like I didn't say that. You might have said that before I got to that, but yeah. Reinhardt, who cares about the ban list? Rule 0, Hull Breacher. Oh, shit. Haha. Hull Breacher is rampant at my kitchen table. Yeah. Whatever. Like, if you're playing with friends and your friends don't care that you rock Grizzlebrand in your Reanimator deck, then fuck it. Who cares? But a majority of players, and just because I don't want to have to contest an official ban, I usually adhere to the ban list, personally. But if you're playing at your kitchen table, who cares? That's different. That is obviously different. Morning from the future, 9 a.m. Wednesday. Hey, 9 a.m. Wednesday. Thank you, 9 a.m. Wednesday. Thank you for joining. But yeah, who would be interested in a news show? MTG Monday news podcast with guests live? And I'll leave that for the next 5 minutes. I keep my CDH decks budget by using Chinese proxies. Yeah, Harmony Smurf. I just sleeved. Oh my god! I just sleeved up like a nearly 70% proxy deck. I like Sithis a lot, and you know, I was looking at parting out cards for her over TCG Player, Channel Fireball. Sometimes, not Channel Fireball, Card Kingdom. And sometimes Card Kingdom just has better deals on older foils. I don't know why that is. They've sort of wised up to that ever since, you know, there have been modern old foil prints. Card Kingdom seems to have adjusted their price for old border foils. But I was looking at a cart of, you know, multiple sellers, multiple time frames, you know, cards that are maybe 50 cents, but it's like the foil Torment version, and I really want that version. Or there are certain cards that just didn't come in foil, and then I'm spending 50 cents here, but then I need to add a $2 to shipping. It's like, oh my god, this is outrageous. I'm going to spend so much for just a deck that did not need to be this expensive, but I just wanted my cards to look a certain way. So I'm like, you know what? Screw that. Like, a lot of these cards I own, but for the most part, I'm like, well, I just want to get, like, I'll see it of Life's Bounty. Old border foil? Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Argothian Enchantress foil? Yeah, I'll do that. That sounds good. These are real. Destiny Spinner? Old border foil? Yeah, I'll do that. Old border Dranith? What is this? A Masterpiece Esper Sentinel? I'll do that. It's like 40 cents for all these proxied foils. Is it then like Heliod like this? Like, I don't, are there, you don't get Heliods like this out of the pack? It's, I don't know. I just thought it'd be cool to just get pretty much precisely what I wanted. And you can sort of dig through different archival sources for art. But most people use make playing cards to do their proxies, and that's what I did. I'm like, you know what? I just want to try like making a whole deck like this. See if I enjoy it. Oh my god, and like this full art Fertile Ground, like you're never gonna get a full art Pumpkin Patch Fertile Ground ever. They would never make this full art. But like, it's so cool that I can get a deck with the art I want, foiled the way I want. A lot of cards in here with art that, like Burgeoning, I think is one that comes to mind. Like, they don't make a Urza's Saga foil Burgeoning, but that's the art I like. I'm like, I really want it to shine when I play it. So I bought a bunch of proxies. Saved a lot of money. I would do that too. That's where, you know, I'm more concerned. Like, do my friends care about that? No. Why do my friends care? People paying off mortgages, people buying like cars, having kids. You know, there are more expenses that we should be concerning ourselves with than Magic cards. If you're late 20s to early 30s, and you know, if you just want to play the game like I do, and you want to put your skills to the test and not your wallet, buy proxies. I say this all the time, countless times, but this is the first time I've bought a predominantly proxy deck. It's funny because I already need to switch out some cards. There were some cards I bought. I bought a old border foil seed. Oh my god, this really sick. God, I just put this deck away. It's an enchantment. It was just reprinted in Modern Horizons 2, but I'm like, oh man, I really want this foil. And then I I kind of want to put a what is it called? We just talked about it. Evolutionary Leap. I can't find it. I'll look at it later. But yeah, I bought this old border foil. It's like Sigil of the Throne, something. It makes angels. It's 5 CMC. Whenever you cast an enchantment, make angels. And there's been so many points in the game where I produce so much mana by turn 3 and I have nothing to do with it. It's almost like playing in a limited environment where you're waiting for that bomb drop and you just don't have it. Well, I get to that state with this deck so often that I'm like, well, I could probably go for like a couple 5 drops or something higher, or just, you know, like a bomby sort of spell. So I put that enchantment in my list. You make 4/4 flying angels anytime you cast an enchantment. So it's like, well, this pairs really well with Whip Silk and Sigarda's Aid, and like just making angels every fucking turn. That's a really cool sub strategy, and it wasn't in the list prior, so I bought that. I bought that after having proxied this, but I bought the Modern Horizons 2 foil. I can't remember the name. Someone probably put the name down there in the chat. But yeah, I'm like so stoked, and I must say, if you're trying to budget and it's not important to you that you own the real cards, because it's really just a you thing, then proxy it. Proxy it for sure. Now, obviously, 2 of those lists are actually all real cards, but I am in the middle of selling some reserve list cards because I got bills to pay. I don't feel bad about it at all, and neither should you. Okay, wow, PSA over. I'm gonna catch up with you guys. Is there enough Is there enough content for a weekly podcast? News content, that is? Derek, I don't really think so. But I've been thinking it would be fun to just have like a sit down, like a get together. I might test this on a Sunday, or this could just be a monthly episode on Sunday. I was thinking it'd be fun to have like a Talking Points Monday episode. It did not have to be Magic related. So a little off brand, but I think if we did like a monthly wrap up, then there would be, you know, a lot to talk about. But then again, you know, I'm not really striking while the iron's hot if we do it that way, right? You gotta talk about Hull Breacher being banned as soon as it's banned, right? Am I right? Get your 2 cents in, let the world know how you feel. Whatever. What's your allowance for Magic per month? Is that to me? I don't have an allowance. Johnny, whatever. Hey, Fry72, this is my first time here. Hello, Fry72. Welcome. I hope I didn't upset you with the proxy comments. A lot of people get their feathers ruffled when I talk about proxies here. I don't know why. But yeah. I should probably state, if you were to pull those out, the back clearly says proxy. I know people that have been scammed. I'm not trying to sell fakes. I think that's the major concern. Only children would do that, and or entrepreneuring assholes. Let me say, did you just take a shower? It looks it, doesn't it? I did like an hour ago, but my hair is usually dried by this point. It's just so hot here that it's still wet. Do you like that look? Maybe we'll keep doing that. I'm actually planning on cutting my hair. Don't tell anyone. Welcome back, Pat. Hope you had a great vacation. I did. Use MPC. I do RFC. I do use MPC. Just proxy, dude. Where do you buy proxies? MPC. So I heard SMOGMOTH is here, so I'm here. Paul Johnson, SMOGMOTH is here. Let's see here. Make proxies. Why waste money on buying proxies? Oh, why waste money? Because it's really not that expensive. And the number one rule when I make any expense, and this doesn't have to be true for you, but for me, if I look at an expense, like this fucking camera here, I'm like, hey, I want to buy another rangefinder. I just want to buy another camera for myself. You have no idea how many cameras are back here right now. But I'm like, hey, am I worth it? Am I worth this nice thing? And 99% of the time, the answer is yes. It's very rare I deny myself. What the fuck I want? So buy proxies if that's what you want. Or buy rangefinders. Lord knows I don't need another one, but oh my lord. Got to sell some of these cameras back here. What do you think of Omnath Rage? Would you need? I don't know. I don't have any thoughts. Sigil of the Empty Throne. Thank you, Fabian. Oh my god, thank you. So 76% of you out of 39 votes would like a live streamed news segment. That's good to know. I prefer to have one copy of a card than proxy others so I don't have to move them from deck to deck. I just don't care. I don't care anymore. I just don't care anymore. I sold... I don't care, and I don't know why anyone else would care. I've never run into anyone who is upset about a proxy in my list. I would question. I wouldn't want to play with that person as well. I'm not going to play with someone who's going to whine about, is that Mox Diamond real? I'm like, no, probably not. The one in Teshar is. Now, I did apply that rule for a good while, but it just doesn't make sense. Like, it's one or the other. Like, do you want to play the game, or do you want to collect the game? There's different individuals. I think those are completely different hobbies. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna expound upon this for too long. Proxies open so many possibilities for me. Definitely worth doing, especially if you're primarily playing over webcam. Most of the time, people can't even tell, and who cares if they can tell? Yeah, same. Having one of an expensive card and proxying everything else is great. Yeah, and that's good. I think that's a good mindset. Like, if you're gonna play competitively in a space that requires you have an actual legal Magic card, then that makes sense. Have you guys seen some of the print quality issues of recent Magic cards, though? Some of them are coming out, and they are worse than the proxies that are being made. It's absurd, the shitty quality of MTG prints nowadays. So I really don't feel bad. I've been making Corvold land decks a billion ways to build it. Corvold land would be fun. George Centeno says, I love you. Thank you. Your shorts give me so much, give me life so funny. Thank you. I'm enjoying them. This next one might not be comical. I'm thinking about doing some artsy fartsy ones. I just started following this guy on YouTube who does really cool creative videos that are sort of, they're just guises for essentially tutorials on audio, video editing, lighting. They're essentially just covers up for, like, you know, selling product and whatnot. But he does a very good job of, like, illustrating his point and making art. And he's been very fun to watch. And, like, that kind of inspired me to do potentially this next video. We'll see. I've got a few lined up that I want to do, but it might not be comical, this next one. I hope you still enjoy it, George. Only proxies I use are ones that I can't afford, like duels. That way I don't mistake them for a real card. You could just, you can literally, if you're buying them off Make playing cards, you can use a backing that says this is a proxy, and you'll never make that mistake. Or, you know, things like the Urza Saga card I showed you. It never came foil, so if anyone would think that, well, they're mistaken. But I also make sure that all the art I get says it's a proxy on the front, too. Just do that, and you'll never be confused. And if you don't own any duels, then you'll never be confused. I have opened so many cards recently that were cut with a dull blade. Really disappointing card quality control. It really is. It's kind of upsetting. Like, I keep getting cards, like the Sithis deck I just showed you. The card Sithis was labeled as near mint, and I believe it, but the foiling on Sithis has scratch marks across it. And I'm just tired of contacting these sellers and asking for new ones because I've pulled scratched foils out of packs. Like, so I know it's a thing, but why is it a thing? That shouldn't be a thing. Yeah, your shorts are the best. I know it doesn't help the algorithm much, but I did stumble here through your shorts. Hell yeah. I don't know how the algorithm works with this, but if you decide to watch the channel because of a short, I think that's a good thing. I've had plenty of people tell me that they're starting to watch the longer segments more because of that, so thank you. I appreciate that. MMO00. Do all of them, they are all entertaining. Thank you. An artist illustrating his point. Nice pun. Yeah. The proxy argument has turned into why pay money to play Magic when in order to play at the top level, people just proxy. In my opinion, it's whatever. But I run into more toxic proxy players than non-proxy players. I run into more... It's interesting. I mean, I own... Well, it's like, I'm not making it a point, but I own all the cards I actually play with, right? I've only recently sold off a few... Like Survival of the Fittest, I just sold off. I sold off a few cards that I have proxies of that I no longer own, and I don't really care, and no one I know really cares. But I've not run into anyone who proxies that's rude about it or toxic. I don't know. I guess if you bring a proxy deck to a casual table, but that would be the same if you brought a, expensive CDH deck to a table. The only difference would be, you're strolling up into a place trying to piss people off with an $8,000 deck instead of strolling up into a place with maybe a $50 deck that you printed out of, some online website. So what's better? Like, if I aggravate these people by stomping them, at least they're not going to be like threatening my actual cards, right? I don't know. I just don't care. If you're going to play with me, I don't. You can play whatever the hell you want. I ordered proxies for everything. I didn't have your Sithis deck. They are OTW. The Dawn Charm Commander. What's a toxic proxy player? Stacks? Yeah, I'm a little confused by that. I think you just mean the attitude of the player is bad. I don't know. Most of the people that I know proxy are adults and just have other expenses that are more important than Magic, which is me, for instance. I mean, I want to buy new camera lenses for this channel, so like that's where my budget's going to go. It's not going to go towards a Bazaars of Baghdad. Like that's not necessary. But getting better footage for you guys is. I'm not going to have an attitude about proxies. It's kind of weird. Overall, it's your energy in the videos that make me entertaining. Oh, thank you. Do you play with your Patreons or on Play EDH? George, good question. Well, I just did a live stream with Patreon members recently, right? But I want to do that more often. It didn't matter what tier you were. That's something I tried to queue on the Discord. But I want to do weekly games as a regular thing, but I generally only play with the Patreon members. Yeah, it's sort of like an unspoken benefit, but it's not something that is labeled. All right, anyways, we went way off topic, and it's a fun conversation. Maybe this could be the segment of a live stream with a guest. It doesn't have to be a news thing. I'll check in with some random people, some CDH players. Proxying is such a hot topic these days. I feel like everyone's tried to make a video on it. Maybe that could be the topic for a live stream discussion, and obviously have all of your opinions in the episode. But I think we should start now. We're way over time, and I'm just going to try to keep this around about 7:30 at this point. All right, let's start this up. Welcome back to the 99, where we're focused on brewing a better competitive commander. I'm your host, Patrick Marlette, and this is the Brewmaster, where I take my Patreon community's deck list, specifically our masters, and I tweak them live with you to hopefully make a better deck, a more thematic deck, or any request being asked, have that request made. So today we have two lists, and I have a note tab up with the general goals for these lists, and we're going to be tackling Brandon's list and Elsa's list, and we have a Kosi landfall deck, as well as a Yogg-Dog, the Yogg-Dog himself, Thran Physician, mono black storm list. I guess you can call SMOGMOTH a storm list. You're basically using Chain of Smog to win the game, and we'll get into how that works later. But these were two pre-assembled decks. Sometimes we do the Brewmaster segment where it's just a request for a deck that someone would like to see made to my specifications, and those are the most difficult because we got to put a lot of thought into that. But these should be good. We're just working off the players' decks, and the first one we'll be discussing is Cosima Landfall, which I've aptly named, and I'll need to join you over on Google Chrome over here. It all landfalls down. So specifically, what was requested, and sometimes these blurbs are short, sometimes they're long. Actually, before I get into this blurb, if you were interested in having your deck featured on the channel, and some of these have been months in the waiting, and I feel so bad for Brandon, because I think it's been like 2.5 months, something like that, going on 3 months, that we've had this one in the pipeline, and Brandon just sent me a revised version of the deck, and I'm excited to revise it even further, at least give my thoughts and opinions on it. But Brandon stated, would love to see how strong you can make my pet deck. I actually recently updated it to a combo win con instead of aggro, and that is probably a better choice for mono blue. I don't think people consider mono blue the color of aggro. I really hope that never is the case. But having a combo win con is probably better. And the list that I have copied and pasted here is of Brandon's own design. And of course, we will be turning this into a competitive, the most CEDH version of Kosi we can. And of course, I'll read off Kosi in a second. But again, the Brewmaster segment, strictly for our Patreon members. I get deck requests all the time. If it's an episode on the show, it was a legendary I took personal interest in. If you see it on the Brewmaster segment, it was requested by our Brewmasters. It is a Patreon benefit, so thank you. But Kosi, God of the Voyage, for 2 generic, 1 blue, legendary creature, God, 2/4 body. That's respectable, actually. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile Cosima. Okay, so Mana Crypt, Island, Kosi. On your next turn, do this. Exiler. If you do, it gains whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control. If Kosi is exiled, you may put a voyage counter on it. If you don't, return Kosi to the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it and draw X cards, where X is the number of voyage counters on it. Okay. So what I like about this, it's almost like... it's kind of sad. It's because the spot you wanted is clearly an exile. And then you're just going to mount on these landfall triggers to, ideally, plummet into a win or just gain advantage over the course of the game. So I see this being more of a mid-range control type deck. I'm sure there could be aggro elements, and I'm sure the combos that we're going to be utilizing here are going to involve Thassa's Oracle and potentially Lab Jace. Can we just call it Oracle Jace at this point? Because no one's on Lab Man anymore. And if you are, you probably take it out. It's a redundancy too far, I think. Most let's see if there's a Lab Man in here, actually. We could take this out. We could take this out, and I'll take it out in a second. It's not necessary when you have both Thassa's Oracle and Jace. So this is clearly a landfall combo strategy that we want to be aiming for. And already you can see, and I just talked about this a little bit on the Discord. I had actually not looked at the deck until now. But I'd mentioned a Walking Atlas setup. So if you have Walking Atlas, there are some bounce lands that exist, right? So Walking Atlas, a bounce land, and or Oboro, which we can put in here. Oboro's a legendary land that taps for a blue. You can also pay a generic to put it back in your hand. So you can use that or one of these bounce lands. And let me see if I see one here. Oh, let's see a bounce land. Well, that's interesting. We'll need to fix that. A bounce land with Retreat to Coralheim. So this is a actual landfall trigger, keyworded trigger. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you choose one. The thing you're going to choose is you may tap or untap target creature. So with Walking Atlas, if you're doing the math, you have Kosi out. She's been exiled. You'll use Walking Atlas, count your deck. Your friends should let you shortcut this, but if it need be tedious, count how many cards you have remaining in your deck. You'll use Walking Atlas to put a bounce land or Oboro. Let's just say it's this. You'll use Walking Atlas to put this on the battlefield. You will pay to have this go back to your hand. While the trigger's on the stack, after the trigger resolves, it doesn't matter, right? And I'm speaking specifically of Retreat to Coralhelm. So Coralhelm, Walking Atlas, lands, that's 3 cards, right? So that's quite a bit. We'll need to look into the bounce lands and to see if they function here for the win. Because Walking Atlas's ability doesn't cost mana, it should work even if they're tapped, and we'll include those lands. I think there was a new tapped bounce land from this recent set. And I mean Adventures, I'll have to check. And of course we'll do this research together in a second. But if you guys don't get what's going on here, essentially Kosi will be able to see the land drop. It's a May, just put a voyage counter on her. Keep on doing this until you have 87 voyage counters, right? You've got 88 cards in your deck. Remember, Thassa's Oracle to win with her, you only need to meet your devotion. So even if you have a handful of cards left, Kosi, if she's on the battlefield, Thassa's Oracle, and any other blue permanents you decide to drop with fast mana will add to that count. So you can sort of play this a little bit safely so no one can make you draw yourself out or something crazy like that. But draw X amount of cards after you've done the landfall trick with Atlas. And I think there's other cards that put lands into play outside of Atlas. I don't know if they're in blue. We'll have to check. That's one strategy, right? There are also, of course, Isochron loops you can do in this list. And of course, I just want to take a second to look over the deck with you all. But that's the general idea, I think, with Kosi, or it should be the general idea with Kosi, it seems to be a combo that was baked into this list, but we are missing the value land to do that. So we'll set that up if that's something we want to do. Obviously, landfall being sort of the cool part about Cosima is something we should probably play for. You can just play this as a value mander with combos in the 99, and that's fine too. I do think that Kosi is likely better, and I just want to look at the back end of her with you guys. I think that Cosima is likely better with a 2-card combo like Narumea and Ghostly Flicker, because she only cares that the lands are entering the battlefield. You don't have to have played the lands, right? So this could be a fetch land into an island, or this could be you literally flickering a land into play. The difference between a bounce and a flicker is a bounce would put it in your hand, but a flicker brings it right back into play. So if you had Ghostly Flicker, Narumea, infinitely bounce lands, or I say infinitely, count your deck, put the right amount of voyage counters on here, bring her out to draw your deck, play your fast mana, play Thassa's Oracle, win the game. And that's a 2-card combo. That's a little bit easier. I don't know if we run both or we take one out, but we'll see. I'm going to read the back end of Kosi, and then I'm going to get to your comments because I have been ignoring you, and shame on me. And in case you're wondering if I'm drinking anything, literally just got back from vacation. This is all I have of tequila. I will do one shot after this deck and one shot after the last deck. But whenever a vehicle you control deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles that many cards from the top of their library. You may play lands from among those cards for as long as they remain exiled. Well, that's interesting to crew this into playing the back end of Kosi. And if you were to flick the Omen Keel, it would come back as Cosima, if I'm not mistaken. And you can rules check me on that if you'd like. But you should be able to bounce any MDFC. If it's a permanent, it'll come back as its other end. Right? So you're giving yourself lands to play off of. I don't think we're ever going to do that, but you can do that. All right. Comments. I have my phone here, but I'm going to try doing this. I have a separate page up, and I'm going to try to just do it this way. Okay. Infinite combo with Liliana. This is in reference to Yogg-Dog. Yep, we would do that. Mono Blue aggro has a billion more style points than Mono Blue combo. Derek, I agree. Rune Serpent says, "Hey-o, good afternoon, everyone." Hey-o to you. Does anyone run Cosima in the 99 for Mono Blue? I don't think so, although she's interesting, right? She's interesting value. I think there's probably other cards to be played. Pocket Sand combo. Matthew, I'll have to look that up. Ghost Town does the same thing as Oboro. I'm going to put Ghost Town in this deck just as value, Hamahimana. But do note that Ghost Town only works off turn, right? So this does not function as you're thinking. Return Ghost Town to its owner's hand. Activate this only if it's not your turn. So you can do this. Yes, you can do this off turn. You can't do it on your turn. So in a sense, you've still got the same combo, but you can do it. It's funny because I was going to add Ghost Town into the deck just for value. But yeah, you can win off turn with this. I think you are. I mean, you're broadcasting as soon as the Walking Atlas comes down, right? So if they see a Ghost Town, you can't do anything about it on your turn, right? And you have to cast Walking Atlas at sorcery speed. So it's a weird setup that way, but it's the same sort of story, I guess, with Oboro. But at least you can respond, right? And Walking Atlas is going to be summoning sick. Who are we kidding? Yes, there is a colorless one. Yep, run Guildless Commons. Yeah, we should run Guildless Commons. Rest in peace. I felt real dumb when you mentioned the bounce lands and couldn't believe. Oh, Brandon, hey, you're fine. It's you know what? If you're done, it's such a unique strategy that I don't blame you for not recognizing it. But we're going to get to it today. That's why we're doing this. Let's check out the backside, gentlemen. Yes, we did. The aggro was fun in regards to style points, but at the end of the day, it was just Eldrazi. Just Eldrazi? Who says just Eldrazi? I still think that a just Eldrazi Cosima is pretty fucking badass. I run Cosima on my Patron of the Moon deck. Yeah, that would be good, actually. That would be pretty good. But let's go ahead, and I think the first thing we're going to do is just condense what's in here and then obviously add what we feel needs to be added. So let's go ahead by converted mana cost. And Brandon, you're in the audience. I'm going to assume that this is a budgetless approach to playing the deck. You can proxy the cards you can afford, and or just wait to buy them at your leisure, and or just try your luck to pull some miscut mana crypts or whatever happens to be out there. But I think that we're going to start in artifacts. Let's just work down the line here. I think that Storm Cauldron is probably going to be removed. I think it's just too much value for your opponents at 5 CMC. Even in a list like Belby that can fast track this very quickly to where you might be able to get value out of this, soon, relative to how a Belby deck normally plays out. I don't think it's very good here. Yes, the additional lands per turn is kind of cool. Again, don't we wish this was Simic? Mangara's Tome is something you brought up to me. Search your library, you may choose any 5 cards. Is this lands we're choosing? Instead of drawing a card, put the top card from Mangara's. I'm going to put this off to the side for now. It can make its way back into the list, but Mangara's Tome, again, the 5 CMC cards are just a little too much, especially when they happen to only work at sorcery speed, unless we're using, this isn't the one. What's the other orrery that lets it you play cards at instant speed? Then maybe, because you're trying to hold up, the way I see Cosima is that we're trying to hold up our cards for interaction, right? And what's unique about Cosima, and I think that we do have a few cards that will let us play Thassa's Oracle at instant speed, and I'll have to check. And I mean things like Beyond Winding Canyon, which is a way to play creatures at instant speed. But if we use Narumea Ghostly Flicker, we do have a way to win off turn, draw our deck, and potentially cast Thassa's Oracle. Is the spell Quicken? I don't think Quicken works on creatures. Maybe it does. The next sorcery spell you cast can be cast as Don't Head Flash. Now, we'll have to look into spells that might allow us to cast Thassa at instant speed, but like a Narumea Ghostly Flicker would be really great off turn. But what I'm saying is, Cosima, I see her as control. I see her as having a dabbling a little bit in stacks. And I think that we need to add the Naru combo and any other relevant like combo to get the triggers on Kosi while she's exiled, which is kind of cool. It's almost like having Eminence, right? You do need to cast Cosima first, but while she's in exile, she's unfuckable. You can't mess with this girl. So I do want to strip a few things away just to get us to that point. And then obviously add to her combo suite. And I'll definitely defer to you guys to get the counter spells we want. Did I say combo suite? I meant counter suite. I want to look at particular counter cards for this list. Because I do see us really just playing out value lands, maybe getting Cosima back, putting her back in exile. We're probably going to play around with that for a little while until we've set up the pieces to do the Cosima infinite landfall trick. I say infinite. Finite landfall trick. Draw the deck. Sacrifice Mirror of Fate. Choose up to 7 face-up exiled cards you own. Exile all cards from your library, then put the chosen cards on top of your library. Choose up to 7 face-up exiled cards you own. Are we using this in tandem with... There's a couple of blue cards that allow you to just exile cards from your deck, like tutor and exile cards from your deck. I don't see them, but they're generally used in Food Chain list. And we could do that. That could be a sub-strategy. And we do have ways to find artifacts, but I don't think this is the artifact we'll be finding. I do think there are other artifacts we want to prioritize. And again, the 5 CMC slot is very difficult if you're trying to control a game being tapped out. Girapur Ori. Anytime something benefits my opponents, I'm going to generally avoid that card. Biden of, it really depends on the card. Biden of Thassa. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Creatures your opponents control attack and... Huh. I don't really mind Colney Gem. It is 4 CMC. I feel like there's probably going to be better for us. Sisei's Ring, we can probably take out. Thread Dynamo, we can probably take out. I'm going to try to keep the curve low here. I do think that a Felwar Stone would be good. There are some 2 CMC rocks we can probably go for. I'm going to take out Skyclave Relic. We'll keep Crucible of Worlds in for now, because that'll be good with our fetch lands for value. Mind Stone is fine. Smuggler's Copter, depending on the amount of creatures we have, can be fine. Swiftfoot Boots, I don't see us needing. If, so far as our main plan is concerned, like the combos I've illustrated, if we do rely on Walking Atlas, potentially we use Swiftfoot Boots. You couldn't use Lightning Greaves because you need to target it with Retreat to Coral Helm for the folks wondering why. But yeah, this could go back in if we decide to keep the Walking Atlas combo. And I guess I should really look into seeing if there was any other Walking Atlas card. Give me 1 second. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Let's look that up. I'm tuning with you guys. Vidalcan Orrery, thank you. It started here. It started there. Been slowly buying more expensive for it. Got you. Yeah, well, this will be the budget list build for you, Brandon. My friend is very excited for the new mono blue precon commander because any phantom that dies allows you to put a land from your hand into play. Can you give me the name of that card, Flumpor? Do we run Crucible of Worlds with fetches or sack lands? I think so, right? We'll need to look into that. There's another card called Drownyard Temple. Like if we have infinite mana and Drownyard Temple and a way to sacrifice Drownyard Temple or permanents in general, we can get infinite landfall with Drownyard Temple as well. And that could be something we look at. If we did Isochron Scepter, Dramatic Reversal, all of the low CMC mana rocks, made infinite mana, had a sack outlet, right? That sort of setup. Would she also work in this list? I just need to know the name because I don't know this card. With the amount of islands, we probably want to run every blue fetch we can. Also, Mystic Sanctuary is a must, in my opinion. I'm still removing cards, and if you guys aren't following along with the list, as I do with all these videos, it's in the description. But you can find the list there. There are a lot of lands. We're going to condense the land base quite a bit. I think this could probably run anywhere between 29 to 31 lands. So we're going to narrow that down a bit. I will take Crucible out for now because I'm not entirely sold on it being a card we need. And I'll take Smuggler's Copter out for now as well. Because I don't know how our creature is going to look in a second. Patron of the Moon. Moon Folk Offering. You may play this anytime. You could play an instant by sacrificing a Moon Folk. Right. Moon Folk. Yes. Is Cosima a Moon Folk? No. Put 2 lands from your hand into play. Is there not just a better dude for that? There's a dude that bounces lands who's blue. Let's look at this really quick. What is his name? He's from Kamigawa. He like bounces lands and makes creatures. Like if you had that, then like a Smuggler's Copter. I don't think we're gonna use Patron of the Moon, but let's go ahead and find that out in a second too. Whenever a player puts a creature card into play, that player returns a land he or she controls to its owner's hand. Overburden, there might be a combo for. I don't know. Gotta look into that. We're not gonna do show and tell. It's illegal, right? No, it's legal. We would never do show and tell. Draw a card, then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Huh. Well, if it... Jeez. Blech. Under an opponent's control? What is this shitty card? Put target permanent on opponent controls on top of his or her library. Opponent may put an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land card from his or her hand into play. Nah, I'm not going to do that. Wow, it's really just Walking Atlas. We might keep Walking Atlas, but then we need to see if there's another Retreat to Coral Helm effect. I think Flood of Tears is in the deck too, but it's a little costly. Let's just keep looking through the deck. We got Phyrexian Devourer, right? Phyrexian Devourer. Is there a combo I'm not conscious of with Phyrexian Devourer in these colors? I'm going to put Phyrexian Devourer off to the side for now as well. Let me see if someone gave me that. Maloku. Thank you. I like it when I just say what a card does and someone has the name. Maloku is good. Return a land you control to its owner's hand. Create a 1/1 blue illusion. This is like a good card, right? But it is very costly. We do have the mana for it. We may want creatures. It's a 2/4 while Kosi's a 2/4. That's insane. But this is a good way to get lands back to do things. Right, if you just need draw. I said we're getting rid of the Lab Maniac. We're going to do that. Oblivion Sower. I am going to get rid of Oblivion Sower. I see Leveler. I don't think is... I would only want to do Leveler if you had a way to put Leveler and Thassa down immediately. And there are some partner builds that focus on doing that. But I'm not sure we have that here. I don't know what Guardian of Zim does. I think the landfall we're going to focus on is Kosi. Marrow Harbinger. Comes into play. You may search your library for a Merfolk card. and put that card on top. All the Harbingers are a little slow that way. Again, you can draw into the card very easily in this list, but I'm not too high on it. Suratami Mirror Mage. Return 3 lands you control to the owner's hand. Return target creature to its owner's hand. If the ability wasn't 3 mana on top of the fact, but 3 is a little too much, right? We've gotten rid of a lot of our artifacts. We're going to be adding more, but I think 3 is a lot. Return a land you control to its owner's hand. Counter target spell unless... That's kind of cool. I wish she wasn't 4 to set up. That may be something we come back to, but I'm not seeing us playing her now. Glasspool Mimic. I do like Glasspool Mimic. As a copy of creature you control, except it's a shapeshifter rogue in addition to its other types. So I'm going to keep Glasspool Mimic for now, because maybe we use Narumea, and if you guys don't know who Narumea is, maybe we use Narumea early for value. Enters the battlefield, copy target instant sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy, right? So maybe we use Narumea for value, and we can get her back with like a Glasspool Mimic or like a Phantasmal Image, something like that. This is just another land drop, provided we want it. It's a little overcosted for the effect. Again, Phantasmal Image exists. There are other cheaper cards that do this, but it's still fine. Ovinomancer. Oh my god, this art. Thassa's Oracle, Phyrexian Tower, right? Phyrexian Devourer can keep using its activated ability to remove your deck. Oh yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, I think that when its power is 7, because this is now a triggered ability, right? You can do this and then win the game, right? There's also a blue card, a blue enchantment that does this as well. I think that's cheaper. Wait, we did this in another. Damn it, we did this in a cold brew deck. Exile, top, library, enchantment. We did this in a cold brew. Someone brought it up. It was brilliant. But there is a blue enchantment that does the same thing that I think is better. What is its name? Hold up. Thought Lash. Exile the top card of your library. Prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to you this turn. Okay. This is better because it's cheaper. I mean, we don't need to do Thought Lash, but we could do Thought Lash. We can do Phyrexian. I don't see a Thought Lash. We could do Phyrexian Devourer or Thought Lash. I would rather do Thought Lash. I mean, at least it helps with Thassa's Oracle, like the trigger on Thassa's Oracle. Because if, I don't know. You need the devotion to win, right? It needs to be equal, greater than or equal. Yeah, if you exile your library, you should be good. But we'll keep Walking Atlas. I don't like Walking Atlas being a one-off combo with Retreat to Coral Helm. We do need more value for this. Retreat to Coral Helm is probably going to be there for the scry for the most part. Dreamscape Artist is a cute way to find lands. If you've never seen this card, I think someone was mentioning this. Discard a card, sacrifice a land, search your library for up to 2 basic lands, put them onto the battle. Yeah, we'll use that. Suratami Cloud Skater. Return a land you control, draw a card. This is just looting. Kind of expensive looting. I'm going to take that off to the side now, too. And I never read the Ovinomancer. The guy who really likes wine. When Ovinomancer comes into play, sacrifice it unless you return 3 basic lands. Return Ovinomancer to its hand. Destroy target creature. Can't be regenerated. That creature's controller puts a 0/1 green sheep. Green sheep. Creature token into play. Oh my god. I almost want to play this just because it's so interesting. Can't though. I can't. Here. I can't do it. Can't bring myself to do it. Tide Force Elemental. All right. I do like this card. I like these Eldrazi sets. You may tap or untap another target creature. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may untap. Yeah, we're going to take that out too. And Rune Crab. Whenever land enters the battlefield under control, each opponent mills 3 cards. Well, if we're really focusing on that, then maybe it'll be worthwhile. We'll see. This is an interesting card that I saw you put in here. Flooded Shoreline. Double blue. Pay double blue. Return 2 islands you control to owner's hand. Return target creature to their owner's hand. I'm obsessed with the art on this card. It makes me want to play it, but I think we can sideline it. Return target land you control to its owner's hand. Okay, trade routes. That's actually not bad, because if we play out one of our, someone mentioned Guildless Commons, right? So if we play this out early and we need to get it back, Enter the battlefield, tap, enter the battlefield, return a land you control to its owner's hand. So Guildless Commons can be the one, but we can use Guildless Commons to bounce anything back to our hand, right? It could be our Mystic Sanctuary, whatever, like a value piece, value land. But if we need that bounce land back later, you can use this to get it back. It's also really cute if we have an influx of lands to be able to discard and draw, right? It's a lesser, like, Magmatic Insight sort of effect, but I don't mind it. And again, I just want art that looks like this again. God, there's some good art in your deck, I must say. Propaganda. You don't really see this one played. Creatures can't attack you unless their controllers pay 2 for each creature they control attacking you. So this basically shuts down any sort of aggro strategy, right? Unless their package involved infinite mana, which would have left as steps and phases and into combat. I think we can probably get rid of propaganda unless you have a real issue with on your combat step. Like if people win with a lot of aggro, then maybe. Let me see here. Is Dreamscape Artist an option? Is it optional? Yeah, it could be optional. Ovinomancer 1010 meme fun time. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. How to go to dinner? What's the strat? We're gonna use like a Narumea type combo. Is Oboro Palace in the Clouds in the list? Tucker, man, I can tell you weren't watching from the beginning. Mono Blue Landfall. Yeah, it's going to be in the list. Don't worry. Don't worry. Stay with me. Long-term plans. I don't know how I feel about long-term plans. It's a very slow, high-costed tutor. I'm sure there's a transmute that's better. As a matter of fact, there is a transmute that's better. I'll show you it. It's I mean, I know the name, but I was going to look at transmutes. This is just better, right? Muddle the Mixture will find us Arthas' Oracle. Muddle the Mixture will find us... it's a transmute, right? So it's going to find you anything that is of the CMC slot. It's going to get us our Walking Atlas and Thassa's Oracle. Naru's 4. I think... Wait. We're just going to look at the transmutes really quick, too. We're going to look at all of our tutors in a second, but we'll look at the keyword transmute first, because blue and black have been savoring these for so long. Is it black? Black has transmutes. Is there a 4 CMC one? Yeah. Crook Claw Transmuter. When Crook Claw enters the battlefield, switch target creature's power and toughness until end of turn. That seems useless, but this will get us Narumea, right? So maybe we use Crook Claw Transmuter. Oh, I'm sorry. There is no actual transmute. It just has the name transmute in its name. Damn. Really set me up there. That would have been nice. Teleria West. Are we using a 0 CMC anything strategy? I don't think so. Yeah, there's nothing then. Damn. Sorry, Naru. We'll have to see if there's another card that copies spells that we control. I think there is, but we want to go with that. I will take out long-term plans for now. Return to their owner's hands all creatures with toughness less than or equal to the number of islands you control. Huh. I mean, if you go against a lot of decks, like with a lot of hate bears, that's actually potentially good. I've been hit with Engulf the Shore a couple of times. I think that we could probably just stick with Cyclonic Rift, right? And our Muddle the Mixture to get Cyclonic Rift if we need it. Cryptic Command is fine. I actually like Cryptic Command quite a bit. I'm going to sideline it for now for some lower CMC spells for us, and then we can get into whether we want to use that or not. All the rest of these look fine. Pungify. You could use Rapid Hybridization if you want as well. We'll add that. Exile target artifact or creature. Its controller creates a 4/4. We'll keep that. Exile target creature. Yeah, Reality Shift is fine. Negate is fine. We could probably add a few more counter spells here, right? Like Delay and Flusterstorm and all that stuff. I'm just going to add... We're going to take out some of these slow ones. Again, this is going to be the budgetless version, right? So I think Terrain Generator is... yeah, we'll get rid of that. We'll keep this. We need to add Mystic Sanctuary, though, for sure. So we know we need Mystic Sanctuary. Inventor's Fair is fine. We'll see about Inventor's Fair, though. I think there are other better tutors for artifacts, and we'll look at them in a second, but Inventor's Fair is fine. And you're in a mono blue list, you can get away with it. Jace Wielder of Mysteries he can stay, it's fine. Curse of the Swine. Oh my gosh. No, I don't think we need this. It really depends on your meta, though. Again, a lot of the stuff I'm going to remove, it really depends on your meta. Search your library for an artifact card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Fabricate is fine. We can also use the new... we're going to look at tutors first. Tutors first. Devastation Tide. Return. I'm gonna remove these for now. Seagate Restoration can stay. All right, we've got 54 cards. Let's go. Don't worry about making it budget. Got you. Thank you. Thank you. At that point, Doctor, you are already paying 3 mana to transmute, which is 3 mana you get from Lotus. Oh, wait. Teleria West gets Jeweled Lotus. Oh, I see. Yeah, it does. So we're going to add our combo pieces. So the first thing I want to do is add Narumea, right? This is a Narumea deck, right, in the 99. We're going to add Ghostly Flicker. We're going to add, let's see, let's just see if there's any more. Whenever copy spell. Creature. And okay. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. Well, you've got like twin cast. I mean, you can do this infinitely. It's not insane, but it's not practical either. Whatever. We're going to ignore that. I did not do this correctly. Wait up. Some of the cards I'm looking at are not what I want. When they say, oh God. I just moved that window quite a bit. All right, let's try that again. We will add Phantasmal Image as well. Give me 1 second. And we'll add Gilded Drake. Gilded Drake and Mono Blue is... I'm not going to say it's an essential, but it's quite good. I do like Orvar. I don't know if Orvar makes sense in this list, but it could. It's turn face up. It's got to be turned face up. Whenever you cast or copy instant or sorcery spell, no, not going to do that. A lot of these are just very costly. Whenever you cast or copy instant or sorcery spell, nope, don't care about that. I don't know. It's just Narumea, I guess. Sorry, Naru. But beyond... stop doing that. Okay. We need to find more Ghostly Flicker effects. So let's look at the wording here. Exile, return. Just exile, return, land. Exile, return. Let's do exile, return. We'll do instants and sorceries. Why not? Because it doesn't really matter whether it's one or the other. But let's see here. I want it to be lands, but there might be something that says exile permanent. Psychic Theft. Oh my God, this art's so good. Look at target player's hand. Choose an instant sorcery card from it and remove that card from the game. Wish you weren't sorcery speed. You may play that card as though it were in your hand as long as the card remains removed from the game. At the end of turn, if you haven't played the card, return to its owner's hand. I like Psychic Theft a lot. I've never seen this card. But you can get this foil. Come on. This is so good. I don't think it's that good, but it's obviously it's like it's almost like a better one of those black spells. None of them are coming to mind now because this has just taken me by storm. Like an Inquisition of Kozilek type of spell, Duress, Lord, those types of spells. Anyways, discard X cards and then return a card from your graveyard to your hand. Nah. Exile target creature. Nope. Exile. You may exile a blue card from your hand rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Return target creature in its owner's hand. Snap back, baby. Evening Pat and chat. Hey, Connor. Fetch land. Scare Tiller works as a fine combo. Infinite Landfall. That's not a bad idea. Scare Tiller is just another way to combo with the Retreat to Coral Helm. Let's look at Scare Tiller really quick, and I'll go back to these because that might be the route we go. You may put a land card from your hand into one. Oh, becomes tapped. Got you. Becomes tapped. So what was the other little piece, Hana? Yeah, this might be doable. Return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Well, think about it. Exile up to 2 target creatures you control. Nope. 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 Wow, it's really just Ghostly Flicker. I mean, we can... no. I mean, we want the lands, though. We want those sweet, sweet lands. Alright. Exile target permanent you control. Return that card to the battlefield and under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Damn you, Teferi. Damn you. Alright. Holding out on me, Tef. Let's look up tutors right quick and see what we're working with. Search library. And we will just go with that. But the one other thing I want to do, because I know we need it. We need Mana Crypt. We need Felwar Stone. We need Mox Diamond. We need Chrome Mox. We need Jeweled Lotus. Lotus Petal. I was going to say Mox Opal, but I'm not really certain we're going to be on Mox Opal. We'll find out. Oh, we'll find out. Let's save this, though, really quick. Save that up. Oh, my lord. There's a prototype. Mox Diamonds? Mox Diamond doesn't exist? Get out of here. Get out of here. It does exist. True, you draw double, so you draw 40. Fast mana to play it. Good thing Cosima ignores Torpor Orb. Yeah. Wizard Cycling. Wizard Cycling. Oh my god, you're so right. There is Wizard Cycling. Wait, wasn't there a new... Let's look up Wizard Cycling first, because Wizard Cycling is the grandest. Okay. We've got 2 now, right? Discard this card, search your library for a wizard card, reveal it. Return 2 creatures to their owner's hand. Step Through and Vidalcan Ether Mage. Yeah, we'll use them. Step Through and Vidalcan Ether Mage. I mean, I'm going to take out one or the other. It's going to be Step Through, but we'll add those for now. Comes into play, return target sliver to its owner's hand. I mean, again, it just goes up there because of that art. But yeah, let's look through our tutors really quick. I'm trying to think if we are missing any fast mana. Like, I don't want Mana Vault. Sounds crazy, right? I don't want Mana Vault, and I don't want the Grim Monolith, and I don't want anything beyond those 2, really. So we're good there. Oh, we do need to add our fetchies. And I'm going to forget what they are. I don't know, Strand. Huh. Inventor's Fair is there. Misty Rainforest. Love it. Misty Rainforest. We have P Vista, right? Still? Did we not? No. Okay. No. We had something else. We're gonna add Prismatic Vista. Gotta have that. Oh, Mystic Sanctuary was mentioned earlier. I definitely agree. Mystic Sanctuary is a must. Just a really good utility land. Did I add Polluted Delta yet? We will now. Polluted Delta. Scalding Tarn. But let me just see if there's any interesting lands in here. Urza's Saga. I don't know if we need Urza's Saga, but Scalding Tarn. I'll just throw in Urza's Saga for now. I don't think we need Urza's Saga, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, but it could come in handy. We'll look at the build. Extract, search our player's library for a card, remove it from the game, then player shuffles the library. Extract's just a good way to remove a win con if you feel like being a jerk. Mask of the Mimic, it's fine. Here it's fine. I would really prefer it in a list that had multiple colors. Mystical Tutor, I don't think I saw Mystical Tutor. No. So we'll add Mystical Tutor. Personal